Chamgei mising chitab kalenjin amang'u ole chamegei eng olda tugul ole tesetai inyorune tugetab Kass TV eng saishechu. Kakoit kasarta nebo logoiwekab emet cheitun eng tetutiet noto nebo Kass Mashinani nebo betut nebo Jumatatu tarik 7 arawetab ang'wan eng kenyitab 2025 ne somanwo kekwane Bernard Koech itagat ketestai. Kitaune komasta nebo Kasarani eng taonitab Nairobi ole tesetai eng inguni korta nebo lumdaetab tetutiet nebo Inuka Scholarship Program neisuldae kompunitab Kenya Pipeline Company kobun Kenya Pipeline Foundation netokchinigei kokoito toretet koityi kipsomaninik chetinye kewelutik eng borwekwai kobun komoswek tugul chebo emetab Kenya asikonyor somanet noto nebo sukulishek chebo secondary. Eng tetutiet kobendi konyoru keljin nebo scholarship noto kipsomaninik oeng'u kobun county age tugul nebo emoni eng kenyit age tugul. Ola agoi nguni ko kokotaban kibagenge noto bo Kenya Pipeline Foundation rabinik cheite silingishek milionishek 120 chekiboisie eng tetutiet noto bo scholarship. Mitei kora kandoikab serikali cheboto minister nebo somanet Julius Ogamba, minister nebo kimnatoshek Opiyo Wandayi, sirik cheechen koboto afisaek cheechen chebo Kenya Pipeline kondochini managing director Josang ak kebendi eng oretab agenge agoi Kenya Institute of Special Education nemitei Kasarani eng Nairobi asikepchin ng'alalutik chetesetai. Ole eng nguni ko ng'alali minister nebo kimnatoshek Opiyo Wandayi.
Commend the Kenya Pipeline Company Foundation for not only talking the talk, but for walking the talk through Inuka. I must congratulate the Inuka scholars for their achievement and perseverance. You are the living embodiment that being able differently does not necessarily mean inability. Your success demonstrates the heights we can reach as a nation when we unleash the full potential of all our people. In other words, carrying everybody along, not leaving others behind. Okay. In conclusion, I wish the Inuka Scholarship Program all the best as it enters an exciting new chapter anchored on transforming lives and opening doors for students with disabilities across the country. And I want to thank my sister, Senator Asigi, for ensuring that we eventually as a country have a law. As somebody with experience in the House, I know that it's not a mean feat to process a bill to the stage it has reached, where it's simply awaiting presidential assent. So we want to congratulate you, Senator Asige, for that wonderful achievement. And we look forward to seeing you process the other one, the one on learning. What you called it? I don't know what you called it. Yes, correct. That will also come in handy. So in conclusion, I wish to assure you that the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum remains committed to supporting initiatives that promote inclusive, quality education to empower all Kenyans. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest, the Honorable Dr. Julius Migos Ogamba, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, to come and make his remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my broad-based brother. Thank you so much, Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum, my brother Opiyo Wandayi, the PS Petroleum, Dr. Liban, nominated Senator Honorable Asige, the KPC Board of Directors Chairperson or her representative, Faith Boynet, and other board members of KPC here present, the KPC MD and the KPC Foundation Board of Trustees, and Chairperson, Mr. Joe Sang, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. Mbona mko baridi hivi leo? Hamjapewa kakitu? Tutapanga kakitu? Ladies and gentlemen, as I sat here today, and before I make my speech, I always, when I'm invited to such functions, I ask myself, why am I here? Sometimes you get invited to do the official function, but when you reach there, you get information that gives you the reason why you are there, over and above the official function that you're invited for. As a man of faith, and for those of you who go to church, you know sometimes when the preacher is preaching, you ask yourself, is that message for me? Or is it for somebody else? And somehow you get a message for yourself from the sermon that the preacher is giving. Today, as I sat and listened to the panelists, I realized that I'm here for more than just officiating on the Inuka Foundation. Several things popped up to me in my mind. One of them is, how are we implementing the laws that we have with respect to persons with disability as a country? Are we faithful to those laws? Are we doing enough to ensure that they are implemented because the policies and the laws exist? And I say this because under our laws, for example, AGPO is required to receive 30% of all government procurement contracts. For some institutions, such as maybe this one that we had before, you'd find that 30% of the contracts could amount to something like 10 billion. Can we say that this institution, for example, has given the AGPO the 30% to the people that are required to get? There are a number of challenges other than just passing that law that limit the implementation of the 30%. And I'm picking this from the fact that Honorable Asige has fought very hard to have a law passed. But that law, unless other pieces of legislation are changed, will not be able to achieve what it intends to achieve. I'll give you an example. If you do not give the people with disability the capacity to finance those contracts, then they are just on paper. Somebody else will be doing those contracts instead of them. So what do? We should be able to change two other pieces of legislation. One, the Law of Contract Act should stipulate that if a person with disability gets a contract, once the contract is performed, payment should be done within 45 days, so that we remove them from being part and parcel of that pending bills program. Number two, we probably need to think about changing the Banking Act, where we should be able to show that if an institution like KPC has given a contract to a person with disability, with this LPO, the bank should be able to finance that contract as long as they sign an agreement with KPC that the payment will be done through that bank. That cycle, that circuit would be complete, and therefore the 30% would be given life. Do you see where I'm going with this? Number three, and Kenneth said it here, when he was in school, it started with his friend who was a cook, Mr. Mogaka, setting up ramps or coming up with the idea of doing those ramps. So as I sat here today, I asked myself, are all my institutions compliant? So what came to my mind right away, and my peer has written it down, is that we'll be issuing a circular to audit all our institutions to confirm compliance. That, I think, is one of the single most reasons why I am here today, other than just launching this particular foundation, which is very critical. And I want to thank KPC Foundation before I read my speech. You're one of those institutions that are making the government proud. And my brother, you are doing very well in the Ministry of Energy, because most of your parastatals have returned profits this year. You are doing very, very well. I think I'm talking about KPC, I'm talking about KenGen, I'm talking about Kenya Power. So you are doing extremely well, which shows that it is possible for our institutions, once governance is ensured, good governance ensured, just as shown by KPC here, to return profits. And with profits, we are then able to do the 1.5% to assist the people that need assistance. Because Babu, without resources, will not be able to do these things. And as we said, let us call upon all our other institutions. Please, once you are given a job running an institution, which is a public institution, refer to Article 129 of the Constitution. Article 129 sub Article 2. It simply says, whatever decisions you make those decisions for the benefit of the people for whom you are working. So for me, that is what guides me every day. I make decisions because, as you can see, if you see these Inuka scholars, you would be a mad person to be making decisions or to be making policies that are meant to stop them from achieving their dreams or their goals, especially struggling as much as they do. So it is upon us, all of us, hands on deck, because we can't do this alone. It is a group effort, it's a team effort for us to be able to ensure that all our people get the benefit that they are required to get from the government and from our institutions. So having said that, let me start by saying I'm happy to be here today for the official launch of the Inuka Scholarship Program. This occasion marks a significant milestone in our nation's journey towards inclusive and equitable education for all our children, especially those with disabilities. I commend the KPC Foundation for its commitment to empowering people with disabilities through education. Through the Inuka Scholarship Program, the foundation has demonstrated that when we invest in education and skills development of marginalized groups, we unlock their potential and pave the way for them to live meaningful, productive lives of dignity. Provision of scholarships is the best way to ensure that needy and vulnerable children in our society access education, and is in line with the Ministry of Education's mantra of leave no one behind. Over the years, the government of Kenya, working jointly with development partners, has been implementing the Elimu Scholarship Program, which has seen more than 52,000 students from needy and vulnerable backgrounds access education. But that is not enough. There is need to have many more programs like the Inuka Foundation program to cover the rest of the students, because the numbers are very, very large. These efforts address inequities under the ministry are implemented through the Secondary Education Quality Improvement Project, SEQUIP, and the Kenya Primary Education Equity in Learning, KPIL program, with support from the World Bank, the Global Partnerships for Education, known as GPE, and the LEGO Foundation. The Elimu Scholarship Program uniquely stands out as the sole intervention that specifically and directly addresses inequity at household levels. The demand for scholarship support under SEQUIP and KPIL program has continued to increase annually. For instance, in 2024 alone, the program catered for more than 14,426 beneficiaries. For sustainability of the program, the ministry engaged the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation, a government institution, to administer the scholarships. I therefore thank the KPC Foundation for stepping in with its own unique scholarship program that will assist the government in its commitment to ensure all needy children are enrolled in schools. I welcome more partners to join our scholarship initiatives as we prepare to transition the first cohort of our competency-based education class to grade 10 in 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, education is the bedrock of any society, serving as the greatest equalizer and the key to unlocking human potential. It is a powerful tool that can lift individuals out of poverty, empower communities, and drive sustainable development. However, for far too long, children with disabilities have faced significant barriers in accessing quality education, hindering their ability to realize their full potential. According to the National Survey on Children with Disabilities and Special Needs in Education conducted in 2018, approximately 11.4% of children aged between 3 and 21 in Kenya have disabilities. That percentage translates to 2,489,252 children, 2.4 and above. The survey identified several challenges faced by children with disabilities in the education journey. These include lack of accessible infrastructure, inadequate teacher training, and negative attitudes towards these children. These challenges have resulted in lower enrollment and high dropout rates among these vulnerable groups. However, this issue is not unique to Kenya alone. It is a global crisis. An estimated 240 million children worldwide live with disabilities, and many face significant barriers to inclusive, quality education, often being left behind in their communities and in the education systems. This is a serious concern that requires concerted efforts from government, civil society organizations, and the private sector to address. Ladies and gentlemen, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President of our country, we have made significant strides in promoting inclusive education. Enrollment rates for children with disability in special needs institutions and those from marginalized regions has been on the rise. The government's initiatives such as the free primary education and free day secondary education programs have helped to increase access to education for all children, regardless of their socio-economic background or abilities. Kenya's commitment to inclusive education is further reflected in our policies and international agreements. We are committed to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, especially SDG number 4, which aims to ensure inclusive and quality education for all. The Kenya government recognizes that education is critical as an enabler of these SDGs and is working towards ensuring that all our children, including those with disabilities, have access to quality education that prepares them for meaningful participation in society. It is, however, not lost on us that even as the government remains committed to ensuring that no child is left behind, significant challenges remain in our pursuit of equitable education for all, particularly for children with disability. This is why initiatives such as the Inuka Scholarship Program are crucial to bridging these gaps and exemplifying the power of collective action. I therefore commend the KPC Foundation for walking the talk on inclusion and investing in students living with disabilities when few others would. I'm impressed to note that in the 8 years that it has been in existence, the Inuka Scholarship Program has benefited 745 students from all the 47 counties with tuition fees, uniforms, and assistive learning devices. I'm confident that the number will double or triple in the next few years. This is in consideration of the fact that the program was recently expanded to include tertiary education scholarships. And talking of tertiary education, we opened the portal for COOPs on the 28th of March, and it will run all the way to 30th of this month. We have 246,000 students who passed last year KCSE and got C+ and above. But of important note is that the portal is open to candidates who start the examinations from the year 2000 onwards. From 2000 to 2024, you are free to apply if you meet the criteria or because you had missed to apply for one reason or another. Although last year we had that number of 246,000, we have in the universities, both private and public, placement positions of 305,000. So there are enough spaces for each and every one of our students to apply, and I encourage the parents who are here and the relatives of these children to aid them, assist them in making the application so that they can get the right courses in the right universities. The Inuka Scholarship Program has given our children hope, confidence, and a vision for the future, with some of them now boldly pursuing careers in fields like law, medicine, engineering, and many more. I'm informed that the Inuka Scholarship Program beneficiaries are rising as change makers and role models in their communities. They are opening minds and changing traditional attitudes about disability. By empowering children with disabilities through education, we are not only promoting their personal growth and development, but also contributing to the economic growth and social transformation of our country. I therefore urge other organizations, both private and public, to emulate KPC Foundation's example and invest in initiatives that promote inclusive education. We cannot afford to leave behind any child, regardless of their abilities, in our quest for economic development and social transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, as we launch the Inuka Scholarship Program today, I'd like to reiterate my ministry's unwavering commitment to fostering an inclusive and equitable education system for all. We will continue to work towards creating an education system that is accessible, that is affordable, and of high quality for all our children, regardless of their socioeconomic backgrounds or abilities. I now therefore declare the Inuka Scholarship Program officially launched and wish the program great success as it continues to transform lives for generations to come. Congratulations. Thank you and God bless you. Asanteni sana. Thank you, congrats. I should have disclosed that in my other life, KPC is one of my clients. So I'm very proud of them for doing a good job. Congratulations, team.
Thank you very much, and our chief guest. Let us appreciate our chief guest for such a wonderful speech and setting the stage for us to know and acknowledge that, yes, there are good things for us. All the students here, mmesikia hayo mawaidha na mmesikia mazuri ambayo tuko nayo. What do we say? What do we tell our guests? Can we appreciate them with a round of applause? Thank you very much. Before we go to the next level, which is basically the official launch, I would just want to remind all of us that we are live on our KPC Foundation social media pages, at KPC Foundation on X and Kenya Pipeline Foundation on Facebook, hashtag KPC Inuka Lounge, and TV47 is live here. Maybe just to reiterate in terms of the performance.
Chatajitab Kalenjin ko pichainik chebo agenge chebo ng'alaletab minister nebo somanet Julius Ogamba ne ng'ololi eng tuyet noton nebo lumdaetab tetutiet nebo Inuka Scholarship ne indochini kibagengeitab Kenya Pipeline Foundation ole kang'alale tetutik cheterter chetinyegei ak kanabtaetab sekta noton nebo somanet. Ko yekitestai ak logoiwekab emet ketokyinigei taonetab Mombasa ole tesetai ak tuyet eng nguno minister nebo ribetab kalyet eng emet orit Kipchumba Murkomen ole indochini ng'alalutik choton chebo cheng'etab kalyet ak katerteretab yautik chebo ng'emetab kalyet eng komasta nebo Pwani ole katoine rutoitab betusiek lo kong'ete betutab rani agoi betutab Jumamos eng counties tugul choton chebo Pwani ole katoune county nebo Mombasa eng tokyinetab koker kole kakimuch kekanapta kalyet eng komasatab Mombasa ako kitokyinigei nguno komasatab Mombasa County asikeipchi ng'alaletab CS noton nebo ribetab kalyet Kipchumba Murkomen.
Kazi yetu si usalama pekee, tuko na pia kazi ya kusaidia idara zingine za serikali kuhakikisha kwamba huduma imefika mashinani. Na kwa wakati huu tutasikiliza pamoja kuona ni njia gani tutafanya kazi pamoja kuhakikisha service delivery imefikia kila kona ya nchi yetu. Ya maana zaidi kwenu nyinyi kama wafanyikazi wa serikali, nimekuja ili nisikilize ni changamoto gani mnapitia Tunajua kuna mambo ya welfare ya members wenye wanafanya kazi. Kuna maneno yenye inahusikana na facilitation ya kuhakikisha especially kwa mambo ya usafiri mmefikiwa vizuri. Pengine Mombasa kwa sababu ni a smaller island hamtasikia ile zaidi kama sehemu zingine za coast kwa sababu ya usafiri aswa. Kwa sababu kuna watu ukienda county kama Tana River ama Taita Taveta, watu wanasafiri kutoka kona nyingine ama nyingine na pengine hawana gari lolote. Lakini lazima tukubaliane, pengine hapa chifu akipewa pikipiki ama nani ataweza kufika kutoka kona nyingine mpaka nyingine. Tuna njia yenye tunaweza kujadiliana jinsi ambavyo tutafikia hiyo. Ya mwisho ni kusema lazima pia tuangalie welfare ya wale ambao tunafanya kazi nao. Aswa mapolisi wetu wenye wako hapa, mnasimamia vijana wengi na watu wengi ambao wanafanya kazi katika hali ambayo inawapatia changamoto kwa mental health. Na hiyo ni kitu moja ambayo ningetaka tuweke bidii zaidi kuhakikisha kwamba tunawatumikia Wakenya, lakini welfare yenu pia sisi kama viongozi wenu na mimi kama waziri wenu na wizara inashughulikia kuhakikisha kwamba you are of good sound mind na you are of good health holistically, physically, mentally, kuweza kutumikia wananchi wetu. Hiyo ndio sababu ya hii kikao. Tutapatiwa nafasi sasa na RC kuona nani atafanya nini presentation, na baadaye sasa tutapata nafasi sisi kuchangia yale ambayo tunajadiliana hapa. Mimi nataka kuomba tu kitu moja, kwa sababu tukimaliza hii introduction na presentation yenyewe kwa hapa, tutaambia wale wenye wana rekodi kwa simu na kamera sasa watazima. Ningewaomba msione ukubwa. Assistant chiefs wenye wako hapa ni wangapi? Hebu inua mkono wote. Hakuna leo kuogopa chief. Chiefs wangapi wako hapa? Leo hii sio kikao ya kuogopa ACC. ACC wangapi wako hapa? Hii sio kikao ya kuogopa DCC. Na DCC wangapi wako hapa? Hiyo siku ya kuogopa county commissioner. Tunajua kwamba sisi wote tuko na vyeo na kuna vile serikali imepanga vile lakini leo tunataka kikao hii ikuwe ya wazi, yenye kila mmoja anaweza kuchangia ni njia gani tutafanya ndio tumalize shida ambayo tunapitia, lakini pia tusikilize vizuri ni yapi mnapitia nyinyi wenyewe, ndio tusaidiane pamoja. Tuko hapa na viongozi wetu ambao wamechaguliwa. Nilisema kikao hii mwanzo tulikuwa tumesema tunakutana tu kama watu wa security, lakini nikasema hapana, kikao hii bila viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa kuna changamoto nyingi sana ambayo tutaweza kusuluhisha tusipokuwa na viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa. Kwa mfano, wabunge hawa ndio wanajenga ma police stations, wanatusaidia saa zingine kununua magari, wanatusaidia pia kujenga ile facilities ambao tunaweka immigration services. Hawa ndio wanashughulika kila siku na mwananchi wa kawaida. Wanajua penye tunataka kuimprove na our services. And I want to tell the leaders here, when we reach that open session, just be free to tell us these are some of the areas we need to improve together, so that this is not a place ya kukashifiana. Hii ni mahali ya kutoa maoni ya kusaidia sisi kuweza kufanya Mombasa yetu ikuwe sawa na service delivery hapa iweze ikasonga mbele. Kwa hivyo yale yote yatasemwa hapa na zile jimbo zingine 5 ndio ikuwe 6 pamoja na zile kaunti zingine zote 41 ndio ikuwe 47. Ningependa kuambia kwamba tutaziweka pamoja na tutaweka ripoti moja, na itasaidia sisi kama serikali na pia kama wizara kuona areas of intervention kwa sehemu zote. We know we have challenges of resources and so forth, but we also have opportunity to leverage on the resources that we have to make sure that we are going to make a difference in our country. Therefore, we are here for the sake of our country, we are here for the sake of our security, and I want to take no more time. Later, the PS Dr. Kipsang na PS Omolo watachangia sasa baadaye, na viongozi wetu watakuwa na nafasi ya kusema kabla hatujafunga, yani kurapa vile mambo yote tutakuwa tumekubaliana. Asante sana Bwana Spika na kikundi chako cha bunge county, wamekuja kwa wingi na wabunge wetu wote wako hapa. Ninawashukuru sana wabunge kutoka sehemu hii kwa seneti na bunge la kitaifa. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. I am hoping in the 6 days nitakuwa nimejua Kiswahili. Asante sana.
Kwa yako ya Coast Region. Wakati huu ningependa kuwakaribisha wale ambao watanena wachache kutoka kwa departments mbalimbali kutoka ministry yetu na pia kwa upande wa projects. Tutakuwa na yule wa kwanza ambaye atanena, Madam Beverly Okora ambaye ni Secretary National Administration. Tuhakikishe dada yetu hajaanguka pale. Asante sana.
Chotok kalenjin ko pichainik chebo agenge eng agenge kongete taonitab Mombasa eng taonitab Kei nebo rutoitab betusiek 6 nebo minister nebo ribetab kalyet eng emet orit Kipchumba Murkomen eng counties 6 chebo komasta noto nebo Pwani ole kataune county nebo Mombasa eng betutab rani ole wendi kong'alale tetutik che terter chetokchinigei keker kele kakikimit ribetab kalyet eng county noto bo Mombasa ak keterter yautik chebo ng'emetab kalyet ole kang'alale kora kotinygei ak chopchinetab kei nebo kikoito kibandishek eng biik tugul chekait kenyisiek 18 akwo tai ama eng koimutik alak tugul ko kimache kenyoru kamung'et nenwach yekiwege konyiketesetai ak tetutietab Kass Mashinani aramet wagei.